Thank you so much. This is the matter of the guardianship of Slater Wesho, G20-054-080M. I'm Judge Linda Marquis. Also joining me is Ms. Maxey. Ms. Maxey, your appearance for the record.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Carrie Maxey, bar number 9118, Legal Aid Center, Southern Nevada, on behalf of Slater.
Mr. Browers.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Marcus Browers, bar number 14840, on behalf of the proposed protected minor, Slater Wesho.
And also Ms. Tajbash.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Sheila Tajbash, bar number 15343. I'm here on behalf of the temporary guardian, Rebecca Wesho, who is present by phone.
I see her also joining us as well on the list. Also, Ms. Alexander, your appearance for the record.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kimberly Alexander, minor guardianship compliance investigator.
So it looks like we are missing natural mother and maternal grandmother. At the last hearing, they participated via Blue Jeans. Counsel, there have been a couple of updates. First, did you have an opportunity to review the CPS records?
Your Honor, I have been able to.
Okay, and did you also, it looks like that on December 20th, I got another, it says that it was filed by Rebecca Wesho, but I don't think that it was. There was a medical records filed, Ms. Tajbash. That was not by you, correct?
No, they were actually, I was going to ask, I think they already got stricken from the record. I believe Natural Mother filed a bunch of different medical records directly into the record, and I do not believe they were redacted.
No. Hold on, just one second, let me take a look at I see the stricken document. I see that they were on the 20th, they were refiled by the clerk's office confidentially. So right now, those records are confidential. Counsel, would you agree?
I only looked to see what was filed into the case. When I went and looked online just before hearing, it looked like they had been stricken, but I didn't see that they were confidential. I don't know if the record is updated though yet. In the last.
And it may be that you're not able to see it, but on my side, it looks like a stricken document bundled filing on December 20th, and a family court cover sheet was also filed. And then it looks like those documents were filed confidentially on December 20th.
Okay. Your Honor, I did want to ask on the record, did the department ever get Mom's drug test results?
No, I do not have Mom's drug test results. Let me check the domestic case again. And Ms. Alexander, I don't know if you want to, I know that you tried to get those drug test results. Is that right?
I did. All I can verify is that she did test. I asked the agency to let me know if she had come in to pay so that the results could be released, but I never received a follow-up back. So at this time, I'm going to assume that she has not paid for the testing, but she did take it. She did go in the second time and take the test.
So that was back in November at the order of Judge Gentili. And I can see, as I look into that case, that there is still no drug test results in that case. Ms. Tajbash, did you have an opportunity to review those records that were filed on December 20th? Oh, there's Natural Mom.
I did review the records that were filed on the 20th. I still have a lot of concerns, especially about the records that were filed. It appears Mom is still trying to really talk about the iron deficiency in the child, and that's why his teeth are black. But my client has spent every day the last 10 days since she received that temporary guardianship taking this child to doctor after doctor after doctor. She's received numerous referrals. This child needs significant medical attention still. And I can let my client speak to it as well, but that the child was behind on his vaccinations. He had not received proper dental care. There's possible neurological issues that need to be addressed. They believe he's on the autistic spectrum. Rebecca, if I'm if I'm saying something incorrect, please stop me and let the court know. But it doesn't, while I do understand the child was taken to the doctor in the past, it wasn't, the medical attention was insufficient. And now my client has had to scramble to try and get all the attention that this child actually needs.
Ms. Alexander?
Your Honor, I
Anything-
was able to
Anything you
obtain.
wanted to add?
Yes. I was unable to obtain a copy of the reports from Southwest Medical. I tried to go to the office that Mom indicated. They turned me away. I went to headquarters. They turned me away. I did send a fax in last week. However, at this point, they said it would be 5 to 10 business days, so I don't have medical records. I was able to make contact with the office manager of Smile Reef, where the minor was seen. The appointment was made on December the 7th. The visit actually took place on December the 10th. According to the office manager, the maternal grandmother called to make the appointment, and the phone was subsequently given to Mom to make the appointment. At this point, they are unable to give an accurate diagnosis of what is exactly happening to the minor's teeth. It's unknown if it's bottle rot from him having nightly bottles or if it's decay from the lack of oral hygiene. He has gingivitis. I guess his teeth were bleeding severely, so they asked for basically some sort of teeth cleaning regimen to begin. There is currently a follow-up appointment scheduled in 3 months, so that they can try to make a determination on what exactly is wrong with his teeth, because they don't know. His front teeth are chipped. The enamel has started to come off. There's concern that those teeth might need to be pulled. If they are pulled, because of how young he is, his jaw will close in, which will result in his permanent teeth either coming in ahead of or behind his other teeth that will be there.
Ms. Alexander, anything else, Ms. Alexander?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I want to note that I reviewed the records that Natural Mom submitted. And Ms. Maxey and Ms. Browers, were you able to review those records?
The CPS records, is that what you're asking about, Your Honor, or the medical records that Natural Mother provided?
The medical records Natural Mother provided.
Both Mr. Browers and I were able to review them today.
Okay, thank you. So I just want to note a couple of things. Let's start at the end there where Ms. Alexander left off. There was an appointment December 10th, 2020. The patient, and I'm reading directly from the records, patient has heavy black stains all over, weak tooth structure flaking off. Per Dr. Vaughn, bring patient back in 3 months to re-eval for surgery center or wait to do treatment. In addition, it looks like the treatment plan explained risks and benefits and alternatives discussed. Pre-operative instructions given. Reviewed with parent diet and sugar intake. Treatment will be performed with general anesthesia based on patient's age and ability to cooperate with treatment needed. Risk and need for general anesthesia discussed with patient. In addition, also some in addition to the dental records, the medical records were provided by Natural Mom. There are some things that concern me, certainly, throughout the medical records, but the most recent medical record is the one that concerns me the most. And I believe, I appreciate your patience here. I read these again early this morning, and exact quote. This is the February 3rd, 2020 well visit. So in the active problems, it lists apnea, auditory canal examination, counter for routine child health examination with abnormal findings, overweight, prematurity, referral needed. Specifically, some of those had been seen historically throughout those issues. Says Slater is 15-month male infant presenting for 15-month well check. Child is doing well at home. He seems alert and vigorous. Parents had no concerns. However, the assessment indicated delayed developmental milestones, delayed cognitive development, medical decision. Mother advised to call Easter Seals for his delayed development. Will refer him to Easter Seals. So, there were some plans and guidance given, which included that he needs to go for his first dental visit, about healthy oral habits, about no bottles, that he needed to be rechecked in 18 months, which was 3 months later. He was there for his 15 month, so he needed to come back in 3 months. So when, at the initial hearing, mom indicated that there was not any developmental issues, everything was good at the dentist, that these were, again, not somehow gains from iron supplements. That's not the case. The tooth structure is flaking off. In February of this month, early February, right? So February 3rd, the doctor has a real significant issue about delayed development and cognitive delay, and there's a referral to Easter Seal. I was real specific in my questions. I don't see anything from Easter Seals. I'm very worried. And again, these are the documents that mom provided and are absolutely contradictory to her statements at the last hearing. I'm not even getting into this. This is just the medical record. When I review this, really concerns me that the parents are unable to deal with the issues presented for this child, that are cognitive delays and developmental delays that are to such a degree. I'm not talking about 2 or 3 months. That would be ordinary to see with a premature baby at 15-month well check. What I'm seeing is a referral to Easter Seals and a request to come back in 3 months. And that was not complied with. I don't feel safe either about the dental examination. I have just extraordinary concern that natural mom is unable to meet the medical needs of this child that have been outstanding since I know at least February. Ms. Maxey, Mr. Browers, do you want to be heard as to how we move forward today?
Your Honor, after reviewing the records, it seems like the medical records provided by both natural mother and paternal grandmother are kind of contradicting each other. It's difficult for me to take a position with the contradictions. Also, the fact that...
Counsel, which ones do you think contradict each other?
Well, I think some of the ones where some of the older medical or older dental records, I think, if I remember correctly, I don't have them in front of me.
Okay.
It stated that it was the iron, that it was stains and not cavities. I think there was some dental records stating that there was no cavities. It was just stains, if I remember correctly.
Tell me where that, I just want to make sure that I see that record. So make sure that I see that record. Which record are you talking about?
I think Mr. Browers could find that faster because
I don't
it takes over my whole computer.
I don't mean to interrupt, Ms. Maxey. I do know what you're talking about. I think Mom provided internet information about the iron discoloration.
Mom,
and there's pages of that.
It's not from the doctor.
Yeah, it's not from the doctor. It's not a diagnosis. It was simply a informational, almost like an informational website of what iron deficiency can do to a child's teeth. It wasn't from the doctor.
And Ms. Maxey, Mom indicates that in her cover page that she researched it on the internet and she gave us her page from the internet.
Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that.
Okay, well, no, and I didn't mean to correct you. I was just looking for the contradictory information. I want to see what you're looking at, so.
Well, in any event, I can't take direction from my client. We would defer to this court with placement of where this court would like to have Slater be placed. However, I think it would be, we would ask for visitation from either side of wherever you have Slater placed. I think it would be a good idea to have visitation.
Counsel, did you have an opportunity to review the CPS records in this case?
Mr. Browers did, and he advised me of what he had seen. If you'd like to direct your questions to Mr. Browers on the CPS records, you could.
All right. I just want to make sure that you reviewed them. Mr. Browers, did you have opportunity to review them?
Yes, Your Honor.
And they're pretty significant. I'll note that there are also many entries for maternal grandmother. Is that correct, Mr. Browers?
Yes, there were substantiated allegations against maternal grandma regarding her 3 children, including the natural mother when she was underage.
All right.
Along similar concerns of filthy house and things along those lines, also possibly substance use.
Correct. Did you want to add anything to Ms. Maxey's statement?
Yeah, again, we can't necessarily take direction from our client. Obviously, there's a lot of concerns in meeting his medical needs and along those lines. Without a drug test results from Mom, I'm not, we're just not getting a really clear picture. Additionally, the medical records Mom did provide, they didn't come with a custodian certificate, so we don't know if that was the complete record that she provided. There's just a lot of unanswered questions. But, the child obviously does have a relationship with Mom, and we definitely would advocate for some sort of visitation in the interim.
Ms. Tajbash?
Your Honor, I actually didn't receive the CPS records. I saw the order for them. I did not actually receive a copy of them, so I can't speak to anything that happened there. But at this point, my client still has a lot of work to do with this child. We still are not, the court will know I haven't filed a petition for general guardianship yet. Based on again, I'm supporting Mr. Browers and saying that based on the lack of information and that, we don't have the drug test results, and my client needs to get him, or not my client's son natural father needs to get himself clean as well. I don't see how we can terminate this guardianship now. My client is requesting that the temporary guardianship extend at least 60 days, just so that she can try to get the child to some of these doctors that he's been referred to. the 10 days, I mean, like, as I stated previously, the 10 days has been very busy for my client. We will get the medical records put together as soon as we can. But I have serious concerns for the minor child as well.
You know, Ms. Wesho, is there anything you want to say today that what I'm considering today, continuing out the temporary, because I'm concerned about what I've seen in some of the medical records that you've provided and in the Cps records. Is there anything you want to say today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said Ms. Wesho. I mean Reno, natural mother request.
He's my son. I love him to death. The reason why I didn't take him to the Easter Sills is, well, I had appointments made, but I didn't have a car, and some things popped up.
Reno,
but
hold on. Reno, let me interrupt you. Hold on 1 second. Reno, will you raise your right hand to be sworn, please?
Yes.
You do solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, Reno. Will you start again, please?
Yes, he's my son. I love him to death. I did get that referral for the Easter Sills, but I didn't have a car at the time. And then I was also afraid of COVID because of him being a preemie. And I wasn't sure what they were doing regarding that because it did happen in March, right after he got the referral. But then I now have a car, and he's my world. If I had thought there was any type of disability, or even with his teeth, like why would I want him to be in that pain? Like, he's my baby. You know, he's all I know, and I'm sure I'm all he knows. He's been with me ever since birth. I would never neglect my son on purpose, like the way it's trying to be made out. And when I did go to the dentist, he did say it was from staining. He didn't say there was rot. He did tell me about the chips on the teeth, but that's when I sent that paper, and that's all they would email me. I asked if they can give me something regarding that visit, and that's what they emailed me.
Okay. This is what I'm going to do today. I am really concerned about the safety and medical neglect in this matter. I also note that maternal grandmother has only asked for a temporary. Her request is ordinarily reasonable, not permanent, in order to complete certain tasks and make sure that the minor child, who is very young and unable to speak and articulate his needs, that his medical needs are met. I still do not have drug test results for mom, although at this juncture, I am not sure, counsel, they would make a huge impact on me. The records that mom presented, it's as though she doesn't understand them, that she anticipated this would somehow support or corroborate her position, and statements that she made at the last hearing, they just frankly do not. They are worse than I anticipated. When I was asking about referrals, cognitive delays, and developmental delays, very specific questions based on the allegations of delay, that would have been the time to tell me there was a referral to Easter Seals. That would have been the time to tell me that the only reason, and even now I'm getting two different stories. I did have appointments, and then when I throw you in, no, well, I didn't have a car, I couldn't go, and I didn't know what they were doing about COVID, so it's not safe. That doesn't add up. Intervention for developmental delays and cognitive delays is imperative. In addition, there was not that 3-month follow-up with the pediatrician. And perhaps those are just missing records. and not a lack of follow-up. But I'm very concerned that mom doesn't understand the gravity of the issues, the medical issues that are pending, the seriousness of these dental issues. Even though she has the paperwork, went to the like it is just no issue. I am not worried about whether or not she loves him enough. I don't have a measuring stick over here for love. That's not what we're doing. Okay, that has nothing to do with it. It's whether there are extraordinary circumstances, and quite frankly, here there are ordinary circumstances. I reviewed the CPS records. Counsel, Ms. Tajbash, I'm going to ask my law clerk to provide you with those CPS records as well. As Mr. Bowers indicated, there are, well, I indicated there's many entries. CPS records are significant relative to the extended family, to Ms. Wesho's mother, and those substantiated allegations in reference to the home and the living conditions for Reno and her siblings. So the fact that Reno is living with her mother and extended family doesn't give me any additional comfort that there is some supportive person there or someone who's appropriate to supervise contact. It doesn't make me any more comfortable. I think they are relevant. So today I'm going to continue the temporary for 60 days. I'm going to have a date in 60 days for us to come back. I'm going to ask Ms. Alexander to update us, Ms. Alexander, as we get those records. Ms. Tajbash, I'm going to ask you, as your client has new appointments or evaluations scheduled, to make sure that you update Ms. Alexander, Ms. Maxey, and Ms. Bowers with those provider names so that Ms. Alexander can obtain the records directly from the provider. Ms. Tajbash, now that I see that an Easter Seals referral was issued in February of 2020, I'm going to ask that your client follow up and schedule an appointment and evaluation with Easter Seals within the next 60 days. Ms. Alexander, I'd be looking for any and all communication with Easter Seals, including whether or not that appointment was set up, whether Reno called, what's going on. I need that information. Let me make just a few findings to support this case. Court understands here that natural mother objects, that natural father has signed a consent, and that there exists a parental preference, that there is a custody order or a temporary custody order in that D case. Despite all of those things, I'm going to continue to have emergency jurisdiction. I'm going to ask this minute order be provided to Judge Gentili so that she knows and her department is aware of. I note that matter, that custody case will be reassigned away from Judge Gentili in the next 2 weeks and to another department. So I want to make sure that the minute order is provided to Judge Gentili before that change. Here, although it's a temporary order, I think that there's information that the parent's unfit and that there's extraordinary circumstances under Laughlin and most recently Larimore in the last few months, that if this child was to continue to stay with mom at this juncture, it could result in a serious detriment to the child. I reviewed only a handful of medical records at this juncture, but those were provided by natural mother. They show developmental delays as of February 2020 and cognitive delays as of February 2020 and an Easter Seals referral. There are also other issues, those medical records, but those are the ones that are most concerning to me, along with the dental issue, which is extraordinarily significant for a child of that age. The ramifications of which Ms. Alexander discussed. Those teeth have to be extracted. They'll be extracted under general anesthesia and could create lasting damage to the development of his teeth. It's just significant, and I don't know that mom realizes the gravity at all. She seems to downplay it and contradict what those things say. I don't think that I need to go through all of the extraordinary circumstances that's set forth in Auckland because the medical issue is so great. And I'm concerned about the environment that mom's in. So Alexander, I'd also be curious as to whether Easter Seals would come out to the house and do an evaluation, or can they provide transportation? It seems like for an organization such as Easter Seals doing such important work, that a lack of transportation would not be allowed to prohibit a child from getting the evaluations and services that are so important, and those interventions that are so important. It just doesn't, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. Anyone else want to be heard on Ms. Alexander, you were going to say?
Yes, if I could just add, I'm not sure if the temporary guardian would like to proceed with using the Smile Reef. However, what I was told by their office was that if proper oral hygiene was maintained for 2 weeks, that they would be able to reevaluate and not need to wait until the current March appointment that's scheduled. So I just wanted to put that out there as an option.
Thank you, Ms. Alexander. Ms. Tajbash, what's the status of the next dental evaluation or next dental appointment?
I'm actually going to let my client speak to that. We spoke about a lot of appointments coming up, so I don't want to misspeak. Rebecca, can you advise the court of when the next dental appointment is? I know you went last week, but when's the next one?
Okay, so I did go last week, and then the next one will be in June for a follow-up. He had an EDF treatment on the front teeth. I submitted that to Miss Carey. It informs that he had some cavities in the front teeth, starting on tooth decay, and the dentist recommended that he get the EDF treatment while I was there because of the fact that they were afraid of it getting infected and causing more problems. So that treatment was done this last week.
What was the dental office that you utilized?
I'm pulling that up right now for you. I believe it's called Tiny. Hold on one second. The dental office that I use is Children Dental Care and Orthodontics. It's right off of Buffalo.
Okay, so it was different than the one previous utilized. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and Ms. Tajbash said you had some other appointments scheduled. What other appointments are scheduled?
When I spoke with the dentist, he recommended Slater to see an ENT because they are concerned about him possibly having tongue-tied that can affect his speech and swallowing. So I called his doctor. I'm waiting for the referral on that, but I have a referral for physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and with NEIS on Wednesday at 2:00. And that's for behavior.
Sure. And who gave you the referral for occupational therapy?
That would be Slater's physician.
And who is that?
Sorry, I'm pulling that up right now.
Are you still taking him to Southwest Medical where he was previously, or a new doctor?
It's a new doctor because I didn't have his insurance card, only a copy of it, and they just told me that I had to have the insurance under my name, but it was still under the mother's name. So it became really difficult to have that done. So I took him to a new doctor and was able to get him seen. Okay.
And if you know, what's the name of the new pediatric?
Yes, 1 second. I submitted that, I think, the other day. Just give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up.
Right. And counsel, I'm talking about submitting these records just for the record. I have.
Yeah. It was, I might butcher his name. It's Michael, and his last name is Nyarko.
And is he at a pediatric group?
Yes, it is Desert Valley Pediatric.
All right, very good. And so they've given you physical therapy referral. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. I just got that this morning. I got his physical therapy referral, speech, occupational therapy, and I already got the appointment set for it's called NEIS. That is for behavior.
All right. And tell me when you went to Desert Valley Pediatrics, what was their impression or what was the reason for all those referrals?
Well, a lot of concern came up with the doctor. The fact that Slater's not walking was a concern, and it raised a flag. And then him not able to communicate or even speak was another concern. And then as he was evaluating him, Slater was sitting there and he was trying to bang his head against the wall continuously. So that raised question for autism. So I'm waiting for the referral to see a neurologist. I haven't gotten that yet. I'm still waiting.
So, Reno, these are all issues that we talked about at the last hearing, right? Whether or not he can walk, whether or not he bangs his head on the wall, whether or not he talks, right? Okay. I note in some of the records that you provided, many of the questions when you go to the pediatrician asks the parents. One thing that stands out is that they asked you, whether or not he was making vowel sounds, whether or not he could go get a toy, tell you what he wanted. It would be important to note whether or not he was actually doing the things that you said he was doing, or there was a significant regression. Let me tell you why that's really important, okay? A significant regression in developmental milestones is important to doctors, occupational therapists, physical therapists, speech therapists when they're making a determination or a diagnosis. So it would be really important these doctors to know whether or not you were telling the truth at all these well checks, or whether whether or not when the doctor asked you that you were fibbing. So I'm hopeful that you can make sure that these doctors have an accurate historical idea of where he was developmentally and whether or not this is a significant regression or he was never hitting any developmental milestones since the beginning. Do you understand that statement?
Yeah, and I was telling the truth. Even Dad was with us sometimes, and he would, I didn't see any type of behavioral problems with my son. I would tell Dr. Reyes, his pediatrician I have, with everything. I would want to know if my son has a behavioral problem or a development problem. It would, that's something I would want to know. I'm his mother, but I didn't see it. So, and Dr. Reyes, except for the Easter Sill referral.
Reno, was he walking?
No, but he'll stand up and he'll use he'll hold on to the table or he'll hold on to me to do that, but he won't do it on his own.
Okay, great. Anything else? Ms. Tajbash, I'll need another order for 60 days. I'll give you a date in 60 days. Alexander, I'll get some updates from you just before that 60-day date. Mr. Browers and Ms. Maxey requested visitation. Reno did not. Mom, Reno, what's your
Yeah, of course I want to visitate. I want to see my son. He's my baby.
Tajbash?
We can figure out some kind of maybe supervised visitation. I don't think my client's going to be comfortable dropping the child off to mom, but we can do some kind of visitation that works with her work schedule.
Mom, what's your
Sorry, what was that? That there was like a bell or something that went off.
Sure. What's your work schedule?
I'm waiting for the certification back from NextRep, but I do it online through home, so I'm open because it's online. It's a work from home job.
My client can work, Your Honor, Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and she works 12-hour shifts those 3 days.
I'm inclined to institute Donna's house supervised visitation because I would like to have a third-party observer be able to get us a report at the end of 60 days. Now, certainly at the end of 60 days, I will revisit this type of visitation, but it would help me tremendously to know how mom's interacting with the minor child, and I want to take that out of the temporary guardian's purview. I really want it to be independent, third party, who routinely supervises contact between parents and children so that I can get an understanding of what's going on. I think it would be really helpful to me, and I'll look at that again in 60 days. So I'll issue the Donna's House order. I'd like to issue it for a Saturday morning, that it doesn't impact the baby's schedule and nap schedule. Have the clerks in the office set it for the first 2 hours every Saturday, and counsel that referral will be sent out to everyone.
Your Honor, would mom be responsible to pay for that?
Certainly, if she's not working or making minimal amounts, this house will routinely waive the fee. But I think it's imperative now. Anya, 60 days?
February 19th at 9 a.m. And then the first 2 hours on Saturdays are 9 to 11.
9 to 11. Thank you, counsel. Anything else, counsel? Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.